it's a sad day. So, I'll start by reminding all of us that the State Statistical Service told us that 32, and I repeat, 32% of all who want a job between the ages of 15 and 35 are unemployed. 32% of our JSS leavers, our SHS leavers, and our university students, and we could go on and on. This incident speaks of the desperation of our youth to get jobs. Our nephews, our nieces, our sons, our daughters, our sisters, our brothers, they are so desperate to get jobs. And it's that desperation that has led to their death. At this moment, you can only feel sad for us, sad for the families. Can you imagine what it would take to be a mother to hear this morning that your daughter, yesterday, that your daughter left home to go and apply to be an army officer? And then by the close of day, you get notice that she is gone. I mean, that's terrible. And straight away on a day like this, it just speaks to the heart of this issue of job creation. It speaks to the heart of the issue of what do we do as a nation to start to provide jobs for that 32% that the government statistician told us about. It's a tough one. It's a sad one. It's, you know, when I heard the news yesterday, on a very personal note, the first thing I did was to start calling those I know in church who had asked me, reached out to me to say, do you have a connection for the military recruitment? I said, I don't. I really don't have any connection. I don't know anyone, and I don't know, I can't help. So I started reaching out to them to say, are you okay? Listen, it's terrible. And if there's anything that must be addressed in this budget, we must see a clear plan for creating jobs. And here I might say that let's not go the route of government creating jobs. Government will pretend to employ, our youth will pretend to work, and we will all be worse off. Let's start looking at how do we get the SMEs, the small businesses, how do we get them to create their jobs? 2 here, 3 here, 15 there. How do we get them to create those jobs? Because at the heart of this country is that 32% unemployment rate between people who are aged 15 to 35. I end my opening remarks here.
Right. And Charles, I mean, you're a private sector person, so and I know that for people like you, you don't dream of going to seek employment. You rather employ. Right. So when you were watching the scenes yesterday, what was going through your mind? And especially now that we all know that fatalities have been recorded.
Right. Good morning to you and to your viewers. It's so pathetic in our quest for economic relief and career pursuit, someone have to lose their lives. I can't imagine if a family member was part. Very heartbreaking. We shouldn't have gotten here as a country. That also gives an idea how hungry people are to get themselves into economic life by getting jobs. It's also an indication that the state has not taken up its responsibility by creating that enabling environment for the unemployed teenage to be absorbed into the employment brackets. In every country, there are 2 key agencies that are responsible for employment. That is either the government or the private sector. But when you do analysis, private sector is supposed to be leading in terms of creating that opportunity. But that is also a responsibility government have to create for the private sector to absorb. We've always talked about a situation where you have to empower the private sector by giving tax cuts, by ensuring that there's certain kind of reliefs and support to ensure that they grow. The moment the private sector is growing, there's a need for an expansion. When they're expanding, there's a need for headcount. And that is where we can absorb these people in. If we have failed to support the private sector and the repercussion to see young people who have not committed any crime, whose desire was to serve this country, to live like this, so pathetic. And I wish we couldn't have gotten there. I know they set up some committee, which I don't think was necessary to set up any committee. The reason for this is there, poor people management. You know there are people who will be entering into some secured small route into a bigger environment. And expectation was that people will be rushing in to ensure that they are safe first. So they probably could have put in some proper queue management. That maybe the first 100 people form a queue, or you'll be given ticketing that your ticket will be mentioned before you to enter into safe spaces for you to be served. That was not done. Why do we need this committee to investigate this? People's responsibility was to ensure lives were protected, and the renege on it must be held responsible. There's no need to waste time on committees. And that should be a signal to any state actor or any person that have given a responsibility to serve your country that you cannot take people for granted. Just like when you're going for visas, how the embassies treat us. This is the same way our state is treating us. Are we slaves in our own country? This is very unpathetic, and I don't think we should encourage that in any form of employment.
Well, certainly.